Hello Stampers, it's Christine from Christine's Stamping Spot. Thanks for joining me today for a Mystery Monday video. It's a beautiful week here this week, so I hope you're enjoying your summer wherever you might be tuning in from. Thank you for joining it today. Great to have you. So today we're going to take a look at this Nature's Prints stamp set. It is actually part of the Sun Prints bundle, which is in our large annual catalog. So you'll find it on page 90 and 91. So I saw a really great sample using the stamp set from Kristi Gray from Stamping with Kristi. So kudos to her for this idea. I did switch it up just a tiny bit, but we've got a great stamp set and some coordinating dies that you can buy as a bundle. And I just want to give you a look at this designer paper because it's really, really beautiful. So it is called, what is the name of the DSP? Nature's Prints DSP, I think. Nature's Prints, Natural Prints, Sun Prints DSP. Okay, so you get 12 double-sided designs, and the colors in this paper are very few. It's gray granite, native navy, Pacific Point, starry sky. Those are the colors. So we are going to use the starry sky and the gray granite in our project. So this is the reverse side. So you've got some beautiful gray granite ferns here, some other greenery images. This has, yeah, I thought it might have had a script, but it's not. It's just sort of a shadowed print, which is beautiful for a background. You have this one. You have some stripes in the starry sky, and this sort of modeled one here in starry sky. And then on the reverse, you've got this beautiful sort of fern image here. I'd have to say there's probably basic white in here too, clearly. So you get this one, you get this one, this really pretty one, and this one. So some really neutral kind of, and then this, which is quite stunning. You could use this, you could cut this down and use some of these as a background, or if you had a scrapbook page or something, this would be lovely for that. So that is our Sun Prints Designer Series paper. So we're going to use a snip of that in our project. So this is the stamp set, and these are the dies. Like, look how many you get. Now, I have to mention these, for example, these three little ones here are actually all the same, but it just means that you can cut out like 3 at a time as opposed to 1 at a time on your die cutting machine. And then the same goes for this sprig here. There are 2 of them, but that just means you can cut 2 at a time instead of 1. So it's a bit of a time saver as well. And then we have a nice sort of label for the greeting, and then some other images, other dies to cut out some of these other images. Okay, so I'm going to show you the card we're going to make. And this was Kristi's card, which I've switched up just a bit, and I just love the colors on this. So we have our gray granite base, and then we've incorporated the starry sky, and those are the only 2 ink colors that we are going to use on this card. The only additional color is, of course, the basic white. Okay, so let's get started. So as mentioned, we have a piece of gray granite. This is 11 by 4 1/4. So we are going to fold that in half here, and we're going to just set that aside for a minute. And then we are going to pull out our basic white piece. Now this is cut at 5 by 3 3/4. I did switch up my measurements just a teeny little bit, but we're going to start with this because this is where we're going to do our stamping. So as mentioned, the colors we're using are our new Starry Sky, which is one of our in colors for the next 2 years, and then our beautiful gray granite. So I'm just going to open this up and get my stamps mounted, and then we will stamp. Okay, so I'm going to start with this large image first. So we'll just mount that on our clear block, one of our larger blocks. Okay, I'm just gonna move this out of the way for a minute. So this stamping we're gonna do is really your own preference. So just because I'm going to stamp it in a certain order doesn't mean you have to follow exactly what I do. You could stamp it in totally different places or use different colored inks, whatever you like. Okay, so I'm just going to ink this up, and let's start at the top. So we're going to do one here. Now this pad is really, really juicy, so you don't have to press too hard on it. It's really juicy, so we'll start with that. And then let's add some gray granite. So we're gonna add this wheat sort of image here. So we'll mount that on one of our blocks, and we'll just ink that up in the gray granite, and you can stamp that wherever you want. I'm just sort of randomly going around. You don't have to stamp the whole image. You can just stamp like the tips of it, like there or there. Maybe you just want some tips of it there, just to sort of switch up the colors a little bit. And if it overlaps, that's okay too. Okay, so that's that one. And then let's add some more of the starry sky, but we're going to add this fern image here. And for this one, we're going to do some full strength and some we're going to stamp off. Okay, so we'll do a couple of full strength ones first. Maybe here, and then we can just sort of keep stamping without re-inking. If you just want to add some of the tips, you can do full strength some more, wherever you want to fill in some space, okay? There's no right or wrong, and you don't have to fill in the entire base either. It's nice to have a little bit of the white showing, I think. Okay, so I'm just gonna close up this ink before I get my fingers on it everywhere. Okay, so now what Kristi did, now you could leave it like this and use that on your card, okay, which looks lovely as well, because we're going to mount it on this starry sky, so you could do that. But for a little step up, what Kristi did was she ran it through the Fern 3D embossing folder, which looks like this. It's a very, very nice embossing folder. And so when she did that, it came out like this. So you can see that added texture, and it kind of fills in a little bit of those white spots there. But as I mentioned, if you don't have the folder or you don't want to use it, you don't have to. You could just leave your white image just like that if you wanted. Okay, so let's use, just because I've got this piece, let's use it. So we're going to mount this on top of our starry sky here. And just put this on top. And then I'm going to mount this on top of our gray granite base, and then we can add the rest of our pieces because we're going to have to add a few of those die cuts there. So let's just put this on our base. And just center that on there. Make sure you've got the bottom opening in the right spot, like so. Okay, then we're going to add a little border here. So we have a piece of starry sky, and this is a piece of that designer series paper. Now we're going to use this side, but if you wanted to use the gray granite side, you could certainly do that. That adds a bit of a different color to it as well if you wanted not so much blue. I think Kristi used this pattern, so I might just, should I do this or should I just mix it up maybe? That's a good question. Just have, this is sort of directional, so just be aware of that. So maybe I will do it the other way, just for something different. Let's try that. And I will, of course, post all these measurements on the Facebook post after. It's just down below there or at the top. Okay, so then this we can put on top here. Okay, so I'm just going to mount it regular. And leave yourself a bit of space on the bottom so you have some of the beautiful stamping showing through, like so. Okay, and then I die cut a few of those images here. Okay, so we've got 2 of the sprigs out of the Starry Sky, 2, a longer sprig, a smaller one out of the gray granite, and then I stamped this wheat image in gray granite on basic white and then cut this out with a die. Now you could use adhesive sheets on these more delicate ones. I didn't this time, but you know, that's certainly always a great option for these really small and delicate dies. But I think I'm just gonna, for today, I'm just gonna use some Tombow glue to get those on. But the first thing I'm gonna do is put my greeting on, just to make sure I've got room for it. So I'm gonna put it about here. Now there are a couple of different greetings. In the stamp sets, you've got your On My Mind, which is nice for perhaps a sympathy, or if you know someone that might not be well. Hello there, a heartfelt thank you, and best wishes and happy thoughts. So a nice sort of birthday greeting as well. So that's what I'm going to switch this one up. I used hello on my sample. So I'm just going to pop this up with some dimensionals. And that's why I didn't pop up that sort of banner piece there. So get this on before we add our sprigs, and that way I'll know that it's there's room for it. So I'm just going to center that in the designer paper, like so. So best wishes and happy thoughts, and then we can add our greenery. So because I didn't use the adhesive sheets, I'm just going to use a teeny bit of Tombow on the back. So I'm going to start with the longer granite piece here. And I'm just going to add like a little dot. I'm just going to use my silicone mat here. You don't want a lot to come out because you don't want it to seep everywhere, although it does dry, but just a little bit should probably be fine. So I'm going to start and put this maybe up here. I'll lay that down, and then I'm also going to add one of our Starry Sky ones, and we'll put that on the other side. Let it go up a little bit. Oh, maybe I needed a little bit more glue. We'll see. Oh, might be okay. All right, then I think I'm going to add this wheat sprig, but I'm going to add this with a couple of mini dimensionals. So there's a lot of dimension and texture to this card, which is always a fun surprise for someone. It just looks really, really neat. Okay, so let's put our wheat image, and if it goes down through the bottom, that's okay. You can overlap your greeting a little bit, so we'll put that. And then we're going to add these last 2. So I've got another Starry Sky, and you could definitely add as few or as many as you wanted of these sprigs. It's totally, totally up to you what you would like to do. Okay, so put one there. That's enough. And then one of our little gray granite ones. Thing with this is it always gets my fingers sticky, so everything sticks to my fingers after using this 2-way glue, but it is definitely a good adhesive as well. Okay, so let's see if I can get this up now. So we're gonna sneak this one in at the top and just let that sort of peek over. Okay, and I think we're done with the mat. So now we can add the finishing touches. So I cut some ribbon. This ribbon is our new in color metallic woven ribbon. So this is the Starry Sky version of it. It also comes, I believe, in all of the other in colors. So it has a bit of a shimmer to it. It's very narrow. So I'm going to use this, and what I did, I cut 2 pieces about, I'd say, 8 or 9 inches, and I'm just going to do a double bow. Okay, so bear with me. These bow challenge things, but this actually ties really well because it's so thin. And we're going to do some trimming. Oops, it came apart. Ta-da! Of course it would. All right, let's try that again. It's these double strands that you have to watch out for. Make sure they all go where they're supposed to. Okay, I think that's a little better. You could do a triple bow even if you wanted. It's that, you know, thin. That would look really, really neat. So I'm going to trim these tails a little bit here. See if this is enough. And we're going to add this with some glue dots. So 2 or 3 should probably do it. Hopefully it's quite light, this ribbon too, so it's really quite easy to work with, which is lovely. Okay, so I'm just going to put this at the base like so, and you can adjust this a little bit too if you don't want it quite to look like that. But we'll just, oh yeah, it's a little bit too much of an angle for me. Hang on. Just see if I can reposition that a little bit. Okay, that's a little bit better. Covers a little bit of the greeting, but that's okay. They can still read it. So there's our ribbon. And the last thing we are going to add is a couple of these 22, 24 in color matte decorative dots. So again, these come in all of the in colors. Maybe this way you can see it better. So our all of them are listed here, and this darker one is the Starry Sky. So where is my take your pick tool? I know I had it here. Otherwise, I guess I will just use some scissors. And it, of course, will show up when I don't need these anymore. Okay, so I'm just going to take a big one and put it on, and just one of the smaller ones here. Now, you don't have to use these. You could use just rhinestones or pearls, but I thought we'd stick with our little color palette here. And there is your card. So you have 2 versions, well, 2 greetings anyway, and 2 versions. Like, I kind of like this gray granite designer paper at the back too. It kind of anchors it a little bit, but this blue is also lovely there too. Okay, so I do have a host code for August, and it is AHHKRPSC. You're welcome to use that at checkout on my website at kristineludwig.stampinup.net. And you're also welcome to follow me on my Facebook, Pinterest, and YouTube channel. And I'd love it if you would subscribe to my YouTube or follow me on Facebook and Pinterest. They're all known as Kristine's Stamping Spot. And don't forget, celebration is still on till the 31st of August. So with any $60 purchase, you can earn a celebration item for free. And there have been some additional celebration items added, which you'll see on the website. If you prefer those, there are some items from the from the annual catalog that you can select if you don't want to select anything from that celebration brochure. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that project, and we'll give this Sun Print Suite a try. It's really very, very beautiful. So have a great day, and we will see you next week. Bye for now.